Next week, we will be observing the Yom Tov of Shavuos, the celebration, the commemoration of the day that we received the Torah on Mount Sinai. This Shabbos, we also begin the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Bamidbar. Torah begins with the words Bamidbar. God spoke to Moses in Bamidbar, in the desert of Sinai. And the Medrash asks, why is it important for the Torah to tell us that God spoke to Moses in the desert? And the Medrash says that this teaches us that anyone that does not make himself like a desert cannot acquire the Torah wisdom, cannot acquire the wisdom of Torah. What does it mean to make oneself like a desert? So the commentaries explain it's the character trait of humility. So in order to acquire Torah, one must possess the trait of humility. And the question begs itself, okay, so a person is humble. Of course, the more humble a person is, the more knowledge he can acquire. But why does the Medrash say you can't? You can't acquire Torah wisdom without the trait of humility. Eino yochel, you can't. And Rabbi Schwab, of blessed memory, explains that the Medrash is teaching that when I focus on the I focus on me, myself, and I create a wall, a barrier between me and God. So when I want to study Torah, and I want God's wisdom, I want to acquire God's wisdom, I want to become part of me, it can't come into me because with myself, with my focus on the self, I created a wall between me and God. So when I can, according to the Medrash uses the word, the desert is hefker. The desert is like abandoned land, ownerless land, more appropriate word. When I make myself ownerless, meaning I don't own myself, but God owns me. God gives me. God blesses me. God endows me, and everything that I have is from God. Then I open the door for God's wisdom to become part of me. We're not angels. And to completely nullify the I is nearly impossible for us as humans. But the message is that the more humble I am, the more the door is opened to acquire the wisdom of Torah. And now we can understand. The rabbis tell us, Derech Eretz Kodma La Torah. Character traits come before Torah. What that means is the following, that I need to have good character traits to acquire Torah. Well, why? What if I'm arrogant? I want to study. I'll study the Torah even if I'm arrogant. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah, you may get some wisdom inside. Yeah, but the true connection to God will be impossible because humility is the key to all character traits. So, Derech Eretz Kodma La Torah. If I want to connect to God, then I must focus on my character traits and develop my character traits. And the key to all good character is humility. So Rav Schwab explains beautifully based on this Medrash. If I want that there's a wall, the more I focus on the I, the more of a wall I create between me and God. The more that I could recognize that whatever I have is a gift from God, the more the blessings of God can come and become part of me and help me to grow, to acquire Torah knowledge, and to live my life as a proud and dedicated and successful spiritual Jew. So the holiday of Shavuos is coming close. The Sfas Emes, a great, one of the greatest Hasidic masters, he asked the question: the Shabbos before the festivals have names, like the Shabbos before Sukkot has a name. It's called Shabbos Shuvah, the Shabbos of penitence, because we focus on the holy days, the high holidays, and coming close to God. The Shabbos before Pesach is called Shabbos Hagadol, the great Shabbos, to remind us of all the great miracles that took place at the time of the Exodus of Egypt. What is the name of this Shabbos, the Shabbos right before Shavuos? And the Sfas Emes explains it's the Shabbos of Derech Eretz. It's the Shabbos of developing character traits, because Derech Eretz Kodna la Torah, because in order for the Torah to become part of us and for it to be sustained within us and with our children, with our descendants, then there is a preface, there's a premise, there's a pedestal, there's something that we must have and we must work on, and that is the character trait of wisdom. Wishing all a beautiful Shabbos, a Shabbos of Derech Eretz, of character development, and a magnificent, beautiful, and spiritually uplifting Yom Tov of Shavuos, the time of the remembering of the revelation on Mount Sinai, the greatest moment in the history of the Jewish people and all of mankind.